Audiobooks presents R.B. Shorts, a collection of classic and contemporary stories from the world's best writers of short fiction. And now, Beekeeping for Beginners by Laurie R. King, narrated by Robert Ian Mackenzie.
Chapter 1. Any reasonable man may reach a point in his life where self-destruction becomes a door worthy of consideration, a point at which it seems that the least a walking anachronism can do for the world is to remove himself from cluttering the landscape. It was a cool, sunny day in April 1915. I had set out at dawn from the silent villa to which I had retreated out of the London fogs some years before, carrying with me both the impedimenta of my avocation and the means to end my life. Do not imagine that I was unaware of the multiple ironies. My beekeeping task required a clear, warm day, while the other was more suited to a bleak and inhospitable sky. My acts were concerned with the populous community of a hive, while my thoughts were at their most solitary. My rucksack carried both restoration and death. My mind was not entirely made up. However, a lifetime dedicated to the science of thought has taught me that focusing the mind's eye on one matter encourages greater clarity of vision along the periphery of the mental gaze. I should proceed with my surface task, while permitting the deeper machinery of my mind to turn. In any event, off I walked onto the downs that morning with a trio of bottles. 2 contained paint, red and blue. With these I might track a wild, or rather feral, colony for one of my empty Langstroth hives to restore the apiary to full strength. In a curious parallel, the designer of those hives had himself felt the grim attraction of a voluntary end. The 3rd vial held a small amount of nearly clear liquid. It would transform me into a mere problem of disposal, and a pang of sorrow for those few individuals who held me in affection. That it might also bring a sense of rejoicing to those who wished the world ill was one of the main reasons I had not made use of the bottle before that day. I was in my 55th year on this earth. For nearly 40 of those years my life had been my work. Even during the dozen years of my ostensible retirement to Sussex, I had remained active. Indeed, 8 months previous, a lengthy case had led to the destruction of a major spy ring, my contribution to the nation's security. Then, during the autumn, while the guns of France drew into place and plans were made for what the deluded imagined would be a brief war, I managed to keep myself in a position of usefulness. But in January, one of my little victories and its accompanying minor injury had come to the attention of the powers that be. Rather than gratitude, their response had been one of alarm, that a person of my eminence might have been snuffed out by a stray bullet, or worse, taken captive and used as a hostage. One might have thought I was the young Prince of Wales. My head had been patted, my protests ignored. I'd been sent home to Sussex. To my bees, my studies, and the services of my long-time housekeeper, Mrs. Hudson, to a soul-grinding boredom and a pervading sense of uselessness. All my life I have battled grey tedium. The challenges of mental work and physical exertion, the escape of music, and the occasional dose of drugs have aided me, but always I could reassure myself that the ennui was temporary, that it would not be long before some criminal laid his scent before me, and I would be off. Now my so-called friends had conspired against me, coddling me for my own good. 54 is not old. I found tedium mentally trying, but physically agonizing. As a winter turned to spring, it became apparent that the world had finished with me. The only thing required of me was a decision to agree. So, that absurdly sunshiny April day, with a throb of distant guns and ominous basso beneath the rhythm of waves against chalk cliffs.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.